Welcome to the world of wombats, mate.
I'm glad to be here. This is where it all happens, eh?
This is where it all happens.
Having met the team, I'm keen to find out more about the situation in Swan Reach.
So, over the 23 years, what have been the most dramatic or even, I guess, significant finds?
2001, massive drought came through this area. The population crashed by about 85%. So instead of going out and see 200 animals a night, we might go out and see 20.
Dave's biggest concern is with temperature increases. If it gets much hotter out here, wombats will suffer even more. As climate change continues to alter the environment, it's hoped the work here will set out a plan to save the wombats and other semi-arid species. I've not arrived on the best of nights. There's a full moon in the sky, and the wombats know it gives potential predators an advantage. And to them, a bunch of people on the back of a ute is a worry. We've got a lot of ground to cover tonight. The property covers 5,000 acres. That's a massive area for wombats to hide. But luckily, I'm with the pros.
Wombat, wombat!
Believe it or not, they can run at an incredible 40 kilometres an hour. Usain Bolt might have a chance, but that's too fast for me. Once he gets to his burrow, there's no chance we're going to be able to fish him out.
There's still dust flying up here from where a wombat just went down. But look at the size of this thing. 2 entrances, maybe they link up, and there's that rocky barrier that they're under. Next one.
First wombat seen, first one to escape. Let's hope this trend doesn't continue.
Okay, wombat.
There he is. They're a bit flighty. And when we've run, it just dropped down in the burrow. Fingers crossed for a few more.
A couple of failed attempts, and I'm getting a little worried that the moonlight is going to be our undoing. But we're not going to give up yet.
Got him, got him. Stay there, mate. Stay there, you got the sack.
Hey, well done.
Hey, he's a big fella.
Starting to get the hang of this. Yeah, what you need to do is try and get him in one corner of the net.
So we want him to go this way or this way? Come on, buddy.
Yeah, one way or the other. There he goes. Get him to walk this way. Then push him right forward, stand behind him. Then you have to reach around, grab the net under his arms and lift him up, stand off the net and drop him in the sack.
There we go.
Good.
Yep. Right.
Yeah, let him go. Let him go. That's it, he's in.
Beauty. Wow.
Quick. Good work, mate.
First wombat in the bag. He was a bit stunned from the light and he just sat there, came around the side, and went right in the net.
Back on track. With the first wombat on the ute, spirits are up. Tonight could just turn out all right. However, if there's one thing that I've learnt, it's that wrangling animals can sometimes be a very humbling experience. And tonight is no exception. We've been out here for a while now and still only caught the one. While the team assesses our options, Elisa fills me in on the area.
Part of wombats' long-term conservation is about getting some of the farmers involved in coexisting with wombats, because you'll find wombats predominantly on agricultural properties in South Australia. And really, if you want them to be conserved long term, we really need to engage the farmers, work with them, look at ways that they can still make a living, but that wombats can also still live on their properties and, keep going for many generations to come.
We've decided to give it one last crack.
Wombat, wombat.
And already, we've got ourselves another boulder.
Got him. Hello, mate. Got one. That's number 2.
Well done, mate.
Wow.
You're making this look easy.
That's the second wombat. There's warrens all around here. We just spot one, get the spotlight on him, and then run. Here, mate. Got him! Hello. Look at you. He's a big fella.
He actually is a good source. Yeah.
Good?
Yeah. You let him go. Yeah.
It's okay, I'll carry it, don't worry.
That's 3, Dave.
Yeah, I reckon that'll about do us here. We
Yeah.
might get these ones back and start processing.
That was a lot of fun.
All right,
Righto.
let's get back.
Good day. I'll get on the back.
Considering the moonlight usually scares them off, 3 is not a bad number. Hopefully the wombats are as healthy as our haul. Now we're heading back to base to give them a health check. On the way, we've run into a curious local.
There's one.
Have a look at that. That's an owlet nightjar. It's Australia's smallest nightjar. He's a nocturnal bird. That's why he's got such big eyes. He's just sitting in the middle of the road. Might have had a feed, maybe just resting. Look at those big whiskers. Just beautiful, hey? He's a...
Lucky we aren't having to catch owlets. Better get back to the shed. The team performs an extensive health check of the wombats. From this, they can determine a broader view of how the population is faring.
Right, Tim, here's the wombat.
Beauty.
Can you give me a hand weighing it?
Yep, love
Beauty.
to.
Gotta weigh it first so I can get the right dose right for the anaesthetic.
Yep.
23.5 kilos, minus a kilo for the bag, so 22.5. Beauty.
What's the biggest?
Oh, they go up to about 35. I think the biggest that's ever been found here is about 38 kilos. Big
That's
one.
a big wombat.
Before they're able to be handled, the wombats need to be put to sleep, an activity that these animals are pretty used to.
You on the side?
So yeah, we try and find the muscle here.
Yep.
Just there's a, I can feel the knee there.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just going to inject it into the muscles in the thigh.
Didn't even feel it.
No. So I've just got to give another injection.
That's just because of the size of the wombat.
Yeah,
It needs to.
because it's a big one.
The wombat's had its anaesthetic and now we wait for it to go to sleep. But I wonder, are there other main threats that they face?
Yeah, well, we've had a few problems over the last 3 years or so. We've had a lot of these wombats have been pretty sick. We've had a hell of a lot that have been nutritionally deficient, and we think it's related to the fact that the habitat that they're in has been pretty denuded, pretty damaged.
Wayne says by the end of a long, hot summer, all that's left to eat is an invasive weed that provides hardly any nutrition. The wombats become more prone to disease. They lose hair as malnutrition sets in, and it eventually leads to organ failure. It's the young wombats that suffer the most. They simply don't have the strength to survive. Luckily, we haven't seen any signs of disease tonight.
Do you think we have a sleepy wombat?
Well, we can go and have a look and see what it's doing. They normally keel over.
Yeah, well, there we go. He's on his
Has
side.
he keeled over?
Yep. Yep.
He certainly has. So do you want to grab its legs, Tim, and just pull it out?
Sure. And we've got a boy.
We have. There we are.
Look at that.
Whee! Good shake.
Always had a bit of a twitch, eh?
Wayne has a checklist he goes through to see just how healthy each wombat is. This one's general condition is pretty good. He's got a few fleas and a bit of hair loss, but his teeth seem to be in great shape, by wombat standards. Now, out with the stethoscope.
It's quite a low heart rate. Do you want to listen?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Incredibly, they're able to lower both their breathing and heart rate.
Yeah, I can only just hear it.
You're right.
Combined with their low metabolism, this allows them to conserve energy while bunkering down during the heat of the day. This mob measures everything. Ears, head, feet, and tail.
So we get some reproductive measurements, a scrotum width. Yep, that's it.
51. Or should I give him a few more?
Yeah, whack on a few more.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll tell all the girls.
How much are we adding?
No, 51, call it 75.
Okay, right, yeah, got it.
Yep.
Last but not least, a quick scan will let us know whether this fella's been chipped before.
So that means you already know him?
Exactly. This is a recapture, so we'll go back, check the database when we get back to work and see how many times we've caught this one before.
With all the tests done, it's time for a hard-earned rest. We'll be back tomorrow for the release. Wombats spend 3/4 of their lives underground. One reason is because they're sensitive to heat, which is why it's late afternoon before we set off for the release.
Put their back against your chest. Away we go.
All of the wombats have been given a clean bill of health.
Thank you.
Time to get going.
Heavy?
Absolutely.
Away we go. Take it easy down there, boss.
For the wombats' well-being, the team have to record where the catches were made. This means that we can be sure the location of release is actually their home.
Not hard to see where home is. Look at that. There you go, mate. There you go. Off you go. Look at that, eh?
Releasing these wombats back to their burrows is a great feeling. The research from studying them in this area is going a long way to ensure their survival.
This is our last little female to let go, but she's been nice and warm in that bag, and I think she's having a bit of a tough time choosing to head off to that burrow in the cold. We'll stay right there.
Time to go
Off
home.
you go, please. Wrong way. She knew where she was, hey? She knew where she was. Well, that was a great 24 hours. Thank
worries.
you. Yeah, thank you.
Had a good time.
400 of us now.
Big Ron is a bit of a legend amongst wombat wranglers. And back at the wool shed, he's got one last surprise for me.
Ancient Order of the Wombat Catchers. This is the certifier that Tim Faulkner battled the road to Cooloola Woolshed, withstood the heat, the cold, the rain, wind, dust and flies, braved midnight trips to the dunny, did headstands down the wombat holes and over fences, marbled at the Milky Way, watched the Southern Cross and didn't get lost. All in the interests of science and conservation at Cooloola Station, Swan Reach. Thank you very much.
This is our first stop into the West Max. It's the mighty Simpsons Gap and it's an impressive sight. The place is known for its rich wildlife, wallabies, frogs, birds, and they're here for one important reason. There's a permanent body of water just down there. Where I'm standing is a dry, sandy creek bed, and in times of good rain, this would run like a river.
I've arrived just before dusk, and there's a reason for that. With a keen eye and a bit of patience, it's not long before the Gap's wildlife begins to show itself.
Permanent water like this in the middle of the arid zone is a little oasis and a haven for wildlife. Most animals are too cautious to come down and drink through the day, maybe birds, and that's about it. But after dark, this place will come to life. There's an animal group here that love water, but one in particular. He's buried about 1 metre beneath where I'm standing in this sand, and he'll only come out when it's dark. That's when I'm going to come back.
Nighttime doesn't take long to come about out here. The sun drops real quick, and it's such an exciting time to be out looking for wildlife. So what do you think I was referring to that buries down in the sand during daylight hours? Remember, this is a hot and dry place, so you probably wouldn't expect to find them out here. That's a Spencer's burrowing frog, and they're found from the central west coast all the way to the centre of Australia. Basically, some of the hottest places in the country.
And right now, he was coming out of the soil. I've just startled him a bit, and he's heading back in. Just his head's out. Hear that? Dingoes. Geez, there's a few of them.
We'll come back to him. Those dingoes aren't far away. Let's check them out.
I can't see any dingo prints here, so they must have been just on the other side of that water. There was a good maybe 4 or 5, mum, dad and a few pups maybe. Oh yeah, right there, look at that, look at that. Oh wow. Oh! Oh! I can see their eyes, green eyes looking back. 1, 2, 3, just through the other side of that gorge. It's pretty special to see dingoes. One of my favourites.
And with that, they're gone. Back to that frog. I wonder if he's still there. When it's dry, the burrowing frog uses extensions on their hind legs to dig backwards into the sand in search of somewhere moist. They'll then sleep there until a downpour awakens them, which brings them back to the surface to feed and reproduce. Walking around, it seems to me the population of frogs is getting healthier at every turn. The Spencer's is an opportunistic feeder. It'll take whatever insects are available. And like all frogs, it doesn't chew its food, but swallows it whole. As I said, the frog population here is healthy.
It's a little desert tree frog. Pretty common in the outback.
It's one of the few Australian frogs that inhabits arid, tropical and temperate climates. It's not a burrower though. It'll shelter under rocks and leaf litter to avoid the sun.
That's a Gillen's green tree frog. It's the first one I've ever seen. They're only found right here in Central Australia. You know, frogs all over the world are disappearing. They are the early warning signal that something's not right within an ecosystem. That might be climate change, habitat destruction, feral pests, pollutants.
The fact they are here though, along with all the other frog species I've seen, says to me this place is doing well. It's alive. So alive, in fact, I keep on spotting them.
Another Gillen's. Look at that.
It's also known as the Centralian tree frog. As far as tree frogs go in this area, the Gillen's is fairly large. The female grows up to 8 centimetres in length, the male's a centimetre or so shorter. Food sources again are insects, and just like their local cousins, they hide away during the day, under rocks and the like, before becoming active at night. All the time I've been scouting for frogs, I've sensed a presence above me.
Microbat. There he is. It's hard to follow. There he is. There's 2 or 3 microbats that are working up and down this gorge. I've lost him now. There's a few of them just flying up and down here, using the walls of this gorge and hunting for insects. There's a snake. There's a snake. Look at that. Stimson's python. This is a Stimson's python, one of the smallest python species in Australia. And it's almost full grown. It's a couple of hours after dark, and it's out looking for a feed, maybe a small mammal or a gecko. They're constrictors, so anything they do grab, they're going to coil around and tighten until it runs out of air, and then it gets swallowed whole. And pretty cleverly camouflaged. That pattern, I mean, that looks like a real pretty snake to me, but that pattern just blends in with these rocks and grasses. And they're a pretty common python throughout the top end and middle of Australia. But I think the ones here in the centre are by far the prettiest. And he's off now. I'm gonna leave him be.
End of my first night in the West Max. Frogs, bats, dingoes and a python. Not a bad haul. Right in the very heart of Dryandra, there's a sanctuary dedicated to Western Australian native animals that face extinction. John's going to show me around.
How big's this enclosure?
4 hectares.
4 hectares.
Yeah.
So they can feed themselves to some extent, but you still substitute.
We have to supplement feed, yeah. They can't find everything in 4 hectares.
Okay.
The woylie on the left is more commonly known as the brush-tailed bettong. On the right is the burrowing bettong, which is unique in the kangaroo family, as it's the only one that lives underground.
Looks like we've got a bilby coming in, Tim.
Oh, look at that. One of my favourites.
Oh, they are amazing, aren't they? Very unusual.
And they're true earth movers of the bush, hey?
Yeah.
They're tough, bilbies. They're hard to hold.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Yeah.
a tough animal.
Yeah, yeah.
Just no match for a fox.
Not much for a fox or a cat.
Barnamia's original concept was to breed populations of various species that were once common to the area then release them into the wild. The issue is that age-old problem I keep returning to, cats. Each time the Bondi Vet team have tried to release any of the natives, the ferals have wiped them out.
We have tried a couple of times, and that was the original intention of everything, was to get them back out. But with the cat numbers rising, we had to crash the whole programme. There's one thing to see them in an enclosure, Tim, but shall we see if we can find one in the wild?
Really?
I reckon we have a good chance.
Oh, make me very happy.
Okay, let's do it.
Looking good. It was beautiful driving through here in the day. It's stunning at night.
Yeah. Spectacular place.
And whilst the numbats are active of the daytime, this is when it comes to life, eh?
Exactly, exactly. The secret world. There we go.
What's that?
Just up on the right, Wiley.
Wiley.
Wiley, mate. Got it?
That is my first ever wild Wiley. Hit me.
Good on you. I knew it up here. Brilliant, brilliant.
Hey, was that a little young at foot there?
That was definitely young at heel. There's two of them with one following behind, yeah. Right.
Well, after that, my blood's pumping. John's promise of a Wiley honeypot is going to have to be pretty special to beat that.
The Woylies, is that them we can just hear, just tap, 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 tap in the background?
Yeah, there's one coming in now.
Oh.
There's one coming
That's a Woylie.
in now. It's a Woylie.
Look at that.
Just like the numbat, the Wiley populated a vast area of Australia up until European settlement. But by the 1920s, it had disappeared from much of its range. With just 5,500 thought to be left in the wild, they're now critically endangered. So the two little orphans John and Rob are caring for will be a small but very significant addition to the population. But the Woylies don't have this place all to themselves.
Hey, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Doesn't get any better than
They're
that.
not beautiful, eh?
Brush-tailed possum's one of my favourite. I know they're common, but...
I know, well, people ignore the common stuff sometimes and they don't realise.
Got another possum.
And then
Mast owl.
that was.
A mast owl. That'll be knocking off the mammals, but
Yeah.
Australian, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a native itself. It's got to eat.
Where did the old Wiley go?
I'd heard that mast owl.
It was, yeah.
So for fun, you come and sit here for hours and watch Woylies.
It's better than television.
Right. I'm with you. What's the most you've had in here at one time?
Oh, yeah. The maximum that we could really count is 4.
4. It's pretty remarkable that a population
is.
that's so small worldwide, and you get 4 in here.
It's a hot spot. It really is, like you said, a honey spot.
This is a cave cricket. Now, this species is only found throughout Tasmanian caves, and they're perfectly adapted to live in the caves. They've got super long legs, and their antennae stretch so much longer than their body. Now, that's because their primary sense is touch. No point having good eyesight in a dark cave. They live a precarious life just on the inside of the cave entrance. But the food they need, vegetation, is found outside the cave. So as night falls, they need to do the trip daily to find their food. But that's not necessarily an easy trip. And this is what he's got to be wary of. This is a Tasmanian cave spider, and they spend their whole lives inside the caves. Now, each night as the cricket passes through, he's got to get past this spider's web. Now, they're quite unique and perfectly adapted to live inside the caves. Their webs are made on a horizontal plane against a flat surface. There's nothing flying in here, so a traditional spider web that may be vertical and span a distance has no use. They need to catch the cricket as it walks by. Now, the spider has another trick. Instead of just having one web, it has 2. And if the cricket was to fall through the first, it's captured by the second. This spider can live for over 10 years and grow up to 18 centimetres. This one's nearing full size. And they're called a book lung. Now, what that means is that they have a very primitive set of lungs, and they're actually on the outside of the body, nothing like ours. Now, the way the lung works is like a book, open and close, open and close, and that draws in humid air to keep the lungs moist, draw in the oxygen to circulate around the body. The closest living relative of the Tasmanian cave spider is another cave-dwelling spider found in Chile, a across the Pacific Ocean on the other side of the world. How did that come to be? Well, these spiders were alive in the time of Gondwana, before the continents split. Just in the still water here inside the cave is a mountain shrimp. And it's safe to say that this shrimp has never seen the light of day. They're filter feeders, and they filter microscopic organisms into their little mouths. They spend their entire life inside the cave. They're transparent in tiny little eyes. For them too, everything is about touch. That's their main sense. So their little legs, and there's lots of them, are covered in hairs, and they feel their way around. They're about the only living thing, apart from microorganisms, that you'll find in the water inside the cave. Now we're deep inside the cave. No light penetrates through to here. And if we turn the lights off, I can't see my hand in front of my face. It is so dark. But as my eyes begin to adjust, I can tell I'm not alone. There are a million lights, little dots on the ceiling. They're glowworms.
They're minuscule. Now, this is a time lapse shot over 3 weeks. You wouldn't be able to see them move like this, but isn't it just amazing these creatures exist so far underground?
As rain falls above ground, it absorbs carbon dioxide. This creates carbonic acid, like your soft drink. As that seeps down through the porous earth, it creates a chemical reaction with the limestone and dissolves it. As the water continues down, it now carries with it minerals. One of the main minerals is calcite.
As it enters the cave, the liquid deposits the calcite, which begins forming what's known as straws. And every now and then, a straw gets blocked.
And over thousands of years, the walls of the straws thicken until eventually you end up with monsters like this, stalactites. As the drips continue to fall, they hit the ground, depositing more calcite. This builds up, creating stalagmites. Every now and then, they meet in the middle and form a column. Now, there's 3 examples here. One that almost has, one that recently has, or still a few thousand years ago, and one that's been together for a long time.
That's me done down here. It's chilly. All that's left now is to find my way out. Now, the ranger said lights out and doors shut in 20 minutes. How long have I been down here? Huh? Ranger? The great expanses of wilderness that covers the Northern Territory famously harbours many of Australia's largest and deadliest animals. Daytime is usually spent either sunbaking or taking shelter, but most of all, it's a time for sleeping. It's when nighttime descends that the real action kicks in. That's when the predators come out to hunt, and the prey, well, they're just hoping to make it through till morning. It's only a short walk through the dense surroundings before I spot one of the locals.
Snake in the tree. It's a carpet python. It's a Northern Territory carpet python, a Darwin carpet. It's only young. These guys can get up to sort of 10 foot. He'd be taking things like small mammals, reptiles, birds. That's why he's come down. He was sitting there when we found him in a bit of an S pose. Whoa, there's a strike. Look at that, and he's S'd again. I wasn't watching him there, but he can see me. Now, he's been a bit cunning there. He's gently creeping forward and making that S a little bit bigger so he can reach further. I'm not stepping back. The last thing I want is a snake tooth to the face.
Like all pythons, he's non-venomous. Their preferred choice of killing is suffocation. To show you the incredible strike speed of this reptile, I'm going to act as bait.
We'll just try and get him down for a look. Where's the best spot? He's got it. Ah! I deserve that, but that was a bite. A few teeth, not too bad. He's just a python, so it's not dangerous. Those teeth are designed for gripping onto prey. They're backward facing. When they get in, they rip through a bit of flesh, so might look bad, but he's only a little snake. Whoa, Okay, now he just nailed me. I'm just gonna grab a stick. Try and get him to move a little bit. He's on the move now, so it's safe to get him off. He hasn't got that strike position. Come on, mate. Look at that. Beautiful snake. They live in the forest, so they're brown, black, yellow, camouflage well. He's flicking his tongue to have a bit of a smell. It's a good find, because it's quite a cool night. He'd be out looking for any little mammals, birds. And that there, as you can see, you got the S in the neck. He is just about to strike. And all along that bottom lip are heat-sensitive pits. Now, if one of those picks up my arm, I'm guessing that I'd cop a whack. Don't do it, mate. Don't do it. Look at this. He's just about to strike. He's flicking his tongue. We want to try and keep him nice and settled, not stress him. Hey, bit of a hiss. Look at my hand. It's wrapped up. He's really got my hand there, and a python this size isn't too dangerous. But these guys can get up to 10 foot. I mean, if he was to wrap around, especially on my neck, it'd be an effort to get him off. Okay, I'm gonna try and get him off my hand and put him back where I found him and let him go. He should go straight up into a tree. Come on. And you can really see how he camouflages on that tree. You have a look at the different colours. Once he gets his head around, he should take off. That's it. There we go. What a snake. What do you think's in there?
Well, they kind of make a squeaking noise.
Rats, bats, mice, birds.
Maybe baby birdies, perhaps?
Now let's go and have a look.
That'd be great, thank you.
Come on, you gonna come?
Come here, Mummy.
Come on.
Good girl.
Natalie's been hearing strange sounds coming from inside her bedroom wall. She's hoping I can remove some mysterious squatters.
It's a good spot because you've got the forest next door, so plenty of wildlife.
Yeah.
Where?
Where are they? Where are they? They up here?
Oh, right, so they're in here.
Whatever's in the walls, it's making them move out of some of the rooms. They can't go in there, it's noisy. I need to find it.
So, and you hear them from inside?
Yep.
Okay.
And it just sounds like mummy birds brought back some food for the babies and they all start squeaking.
If they were birds and it was mum and dad, you should see them coming and going pretty regularly, and you haven't seen anything?
I haven't seen anything, no, but if you could rehome them somewhere that's safe for them in a nice environment that... We've got a cat. I don't want them to get eaten or anything like that, so...
So we know whatever it is most active at night, and it's probably nocturnal. Now, I've got a good hunch on what it's going to be, but whatever it is, I've got to get it out. Do you want to help me? Do you want to have a go? Do you want to have a go? I think that was a no.
These poor people, I come around to have a look at their animals, and I mentioned to them I'm not a builder, which is just as well because this house is coming down. There's your drain.
Oh, lovely. Might be a good time to clean it. Ready for bushfires.
Oh, the gutters aren't bad, so someone's been good.
That's my lovely dad.
All right, I might start at this one, hey?
Just make sure no little mice or anything.
Oh, I can see something there now.
I've found them. They're not mice and they're not birds.
Look up under there.
Oh! Oh, cute.
Okay, so I can see one.
Oh, yeah, I see him now. Oh, he's just there.
As I thought, we've got a family of microbats living just up inside the cavity.
Now, he's behind this one, which is okay. So what we might actually do is now work at getting this top one off.
He's about the size of a little mouse. But as long as he doesn't, he's going to drop on me.
A little microbat, it's tucked right up the top.
Geez, you're rougher than me.
And for a little animal, they've got big teeth.
Holy moly.
Is there more?
Oh, is there more? Have a look at this. There we go, so... Yeah, can you see now? Look at that.
Oh, I can hear them. Oh, yeah, there's one. Oh, there's a whole...
Yep, a whole little colony of them.
The bats are going to have to come out.
Oh, they're starting to wake up.
And if they're not relocated, they could pose a threat to the family. Don't get me wrong, I love bats, but they can carry a virus called lyssavirus, and it can be fatal to humans. It's a form of rabies. And for little Amber, who's at that age where she's poking around in places she probably shouldn't be, it's a real worry. We've got to be quick because these little guys are starting to wake up. They're in there because it's dark. I've just given it daylight and they're beginning to get active, so I've got to be careful and just get one at a time. Okay. I've got one.
Oh, cool.
Okay, are they sitting? Yep. Look at that. That's it.
So cute.
Full grown. Look at that little face, full of teeth.
Yes.
I'm gonna put them in the bag and go again. So there's one, they will climb up. That's it. Thank you. Okay, there's 1, 2. Look at that, another 2. Oh mate, they're so fragile. Okay, so that's 3. Come on, little guy, I don't want to hurt you. Okay, oh, he's a cranky one. Another 2.
He's awake.
Look at that. That's a pretty cute little face. Hey, it's all right, mate. 5. What's that, number 6? Oh. So far, I've managed to remove 6 bats. Oh, he's up high, that little guy. But there's still 1 left, and this fella doesn't want to go without a fight. Come on, little guy. Okay, a little bit more. Gotcha. Got him. Look at that. And look for their size, look at the attitude they've got. Isn't that beautiful?
Like tissue paper.
Yep. Stay here, matey. He's not afraid to bite.
They can hear him.
Listen. Hear that? With all the bats removed, I now need to find how the tiny trespassers got into Natalie's home. So this is a little bat highway. I can see right where they're coming in, straight through the side. And then you can see where they climb up, tiny little claw marks, and beneath that is a heap of droppings. If we block these holes, at least that means this particular access point's stopped. They're just sneaking through a couple of cracks. And now, it's important that I fix them. If I don't, more bats will come and use that site. That's not good for the bats, and it's not safe for the family.
Are you supervising?
All right. So this will work temporarily, and you guys might just need a tube of that gap filler.
Sure. Good on you.
Yeah, I'm glad we got them all. I'm going to take the bats back to the reptile park. I've blocked off their home. If I leave them there, they won't survive. I need to bring them back and give them the care they need. Jeez, it's pretty heavy, isn't it? Heavy. It's heavy, yeah. You're a good helper. They can ride in the front with me.
Bye-bye, bats.
Bye.
Good girl.
Bye.
They're gone.
Go.
Gone.
Hello, little guys. They're so small. Back at the park, they'll get the care and attention they need until I can find them a suitable home. Look at that. I can see here that they're not bent-wing bats. So my thinking now is that we're at a chocolate wattled bat. Now I've identified them, it's time they get a new home. For the time being, anyway. There you go. Bats like to feel safe. They're little, they're vulnerable. They're a little snack pack for an owl or a kookaburra. So when they hide, they want to be compressed, they want to be tight. So the things that I've provided there allow them to either get right up inside a beanie, to get in a dark box and tuck away. He is so cranky. Look at that for a little guy. They sure pack a punch. Hey, I wouldn't like to be an insect. There you go, buddy. I want you to go up in there with you, mate. Tucked up, safe and sound. I reckon it's time they got a housewarming present. What bat doesn't love a juicy mealworm? Microbats are insectivorous. That means they eat little insects. Now, I've got a bowl of mealworms and they'll feast on that overnight. Now, I'm going to keep them here for a little while and eventually they'll go back to the wild.